What's up, dude?
What's up, man?
So, do you realize that we've been on YouTube for almost 5 years now? And in that time, we've never done a proper versus video between these two cars?
Well, I'm game. What do you have in mind?
I have gone ahead and devised 7 categories with which we will discuss, debate, and test our cars in, including quality, comfortability, reliability, a 0 to 60 speed test, miles per gallon, off-road, and of course, overland. After which, we will tally up all the votes and truly see who picked the better vehicle.
Dude, this is dirty. Should I keep that?
Dirty because my car's always dirty.
Okay, so category number 1, quality of driving.
So I guess the first thing we'll have to obviously bring up is the difference in age.
So you're 2017, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're an 03?
Yes. I honestly, mine, when I first bought it, it was like the most comfortable car I've ever driven. But as soon as I started modifying it, it went downhill so fast. Lifted, it's got the heaviest tires on the market, and I removed both sway bars. So honestly, quality of driving, it's not great. Honestly, not great.
For the Renegade, I bought it, what, in 2020, I think.
Mm-hmm. So it was only 3 years old at the time.
So it wasn't that old. It had like 15,000 miles. So, I mean, it was pretty new for the most part. With the stock wheels, stock everything, it was smooth, it was quiet. Everything was good. And I'd say the same thing. It was probably the smoothest car I've ever had.
So I'm not going to just give this point to you just off of that, because I know your sway bars are and they rattle like a mother.
They are because of the lift kit, you know, because same thing, lift kit, new tires, new wheels, a bunch of external, internal, I guess doesn't matter. The pod lights, the crossbars make it noisy.
Also, you do have this big old cracked windshield.
That wasn't my fault either. None of it was my fault.
Okay. I still love driving that Subaru. It's so much fun to drive.
But I bet your Santa Cruz drives way better.
Dude, yeah. Okay, so I think we can sum it up as 1 point for the Renegade.
I think it's smart to do it this way, just because in general, if you buy a 2025 car, it has to be better than your 2020 or 2018.
True.
It's supposed to be. That's the reason of buying a new car, right?
Unless you're driving like a 2010 Crown Vic, and that's just a giant couch, and there's no really beating that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess the second...
Oh, you left your door open.
Oh, that...
It's like, why does it sound like the window's open?
The second category is comfortability, which is kind of like the first, but slightly different. This car came with leather seats, and they were all ripped up. And then I did the motor swap, and they put airbags in these seats, so safety went up. But these seats are so beat up. They're from 2002. Previous car had 200,000 miles, so the seats are not great. And if I were to say, out of all the vehicles driven, like, these seats are the most uncomfortable seats I've ever sat in.
Nothing really special with my Renegade specifically. It's got the cloth interior. It's all black. I mean, they had the high altitude package, which meant all black interior gloss pieces, but that was the only thing. Besides that, they do make Renegades with leather seats, but you know, mine does not have it. Although mine does have heated seats that actually work, that come in handy, and heated steering wheel, so that's always nice in the winter.
I think your car is also, even though it's a shorter car and a shorter wheelbase, it's American sized, because like I can't, this seat's all the way back and my knees are still crooked. I took 5 adults down to Missouri, and my seat, mine and my passenger seats were like right here. My knees are touching the dash.
That's terrible.
So it works, but that was a big trip. As far as back seat though, I honestly don't know.
My back seat can be terrible. So the other day I picked up my dad from the airport, and you know, I asked if he wanted to sit in the back. I just had to put my seat all the way. I had to put my feet forward, so I was uncomfortable, at least for the drive home. But it's better to have a vehicle, in my opinion, where you don't have to adjust your seat for the person behind you a lot.
That's true.
So I mean, I think in general, I think we both lost that. But between the two, I know mine kind of sucks for backseat at least. And that's one of the main complaints about the Renegade is the backseat and the rear space. I do have a rear enclosed, I guess, trunk space. Yours, you don't have a trunk space, you have a bed. So, I mean, when we talk about, I mean, yours is considered a bit of a truck, so you can throw stuff in there even if it sticks out. So, I mean, like that kind of gives you some points on that because I'm limited to the space. And we both have cross or rails, so we can put stuff on the roof. So, personally, I would think your car has the more interior space, at least thought out, planned out, passenger wise, not wide wise, because I think mine's a little wider.
So should we score this one as a draw?
I think we can call it a draw.
Okay.
I think technically we both lost,
so
but we're just trying not to have a big loser.
1 point for the Subaru and unfortunately 2 points for the Renegade at this point.
This next category is for all the Jeep Renegade haters, and it is reliability.
And what about the Subaru haters and your head gaskets?
Back when I had the 2.5, I blew the head gaskets 3 times. The first time I wanted to do preventative maintenance, so it wasn't fully blown then. Like 50,000 miles later, they blew for the second time. Spent a lot of money, had a shop do it. They put X amount of miles and 2-year warranty, and the head gaskets blew, and I didn't notice it until after the warranty period, and they wouldn't help me out at all. They were just like, we'll just do the job again for full price. So that was horrible. And then the third time it blew was like shortly after we got back to Missouri. And at that point I was so fed up that I dropped the 3.0 liter in it. I fixed that problem. I would gladly say it's hella reliable now. Original Baja, not reliable.
Yeah, it kind of sucks, man, because you know that kind of stuff happens, especially since your car's been out for years. You hear the horror stories behind it. But with the Renegade, it's kind of hit or miss. It's weird because you got people that have problems 20,000 miles within, or even like 10,000 miles, something maybe factory that happens. But we've had issues with oil consumption with the Renegades that has caused problems. They did have a recall a couple years ago for it, and I took mine in. I never had a problem with my oil, but it reliability for me, I've had it for what, almost 5 years now. And
how many miles are on it?
So I got it when I had about 15, and right now I'm getting close to 100,000 now.
Okay.
If it wasn't for me doing that lift kit, I don't know if I'd have any sway bar link issues. And a lot of the times people that post problems with sway bar links is because they lifted it.
So obviously we'll debate and we'll vote, but also our comment section can debate and tell us if we were wrong or not. But I'm going to give this point to my Subaru just for that 3.0. That EZ30D motor is bulletproof. There's numerous, not just like single cases or some odd cases, but almost like every EZ30D out there has well over 200,000 miles.
Yeah, I agree with the motor swap. Your car is probably more reliable, but I disagree because that's not the original motor.
Oh, okay.
If it was the original motor, you probably wouldn't even be owning this car.
Okay, so I'll give myself a point and you give yourself a point. Next category is the 0 to 60 speed test. Now, we did do a drag race in the Bonneville Salt Flats, but I had, what, 500 extra pounds of camping gear in my car?
Also, you had just did the swap like a month or two before, so
yeah,
you were we were a little scared to put it, especially being that far away.
That's true. Look, as soon as you took off, I was like, oh man, he's got more than I thought. So that's when I put the pedal all the way down, and it's just like, no, it's not gonna catch up.
Yeah, it was just a little kind of funsies. Shit, we were on the salt flat, so we want to have a little fun with it.
Yeah, that's true. Wow. So you technically won that drag race, but there were way too many factors against it.
Yeah, we were. It wasn't really planned.
So let's just do some science behind it real quick. You go ahead. What is your 0 to 60 for the Renegade?
So for the Renegade, a 2.4 natural aspirated 4-cylinder Renegade. It hits 0 to 60 in 9.3 seconds, so just under 10, a little above 9. I can tell you from the beginning, I know the Renegade's a little slow.
And then should we take off 1 or 2 seconds based on tire and lift kit? What do you think?
Yeah, I think the tires definitely make it a little slower now,
Mhm.
especially now that they're newer. My older ones that were getting bald, they were a little bit better.
02 Outback H6 0 to 60. 8.5 seconds.
It's actually not as fast as I thought it was gonna be.
It's a whole lot of motor, but it's just, it is naturally aspirated, but it's still heavier motor. And then I obviously put a big old steel bumper on mine.
Yeah, it weighs it down.
Lift kit. KO2s are the heaviest tires out there. And this motor has at least 150,000 miles on it. So it's not as fast as it was back in the day. So I think I'm gonna add 3 seconds. So what is that?
8 point something?
8 point,
That would make you way slower.
it's 8.5. So I'm gonna take
11?
11.5, and yours was
9.9.
9.3.
I'm probably closer to 10 seconds, to be honest.
10 seconds. Dude, I
It's getting close
honestly,
to a tie again.
I honestly thought I was gonna win this one.
But the thing too is, I think I'm approaching a tune-up soon, so I can tell that my car isn't as sharp as it was when I first got it.
Let's see what the naturally aspirated 4-cylinder is 10 seconds. So with manual transmission, if I had the old motor, it was 10 seconds. With the new motor, with all of our heavy stuff, I think you win by a couple point seconds.
Probably.
So,
It'd be close. It'd be
yeah,
close. Especially if
that's
we
true.
race now, you know. I definitely know that my car's slower than what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, in full confidence, I gotta vote Renegade on this one.
It'd be close.
Okay, 5-3. You sure you don't want to move any of those points?
I think we'll let the people decide.
Okay. Fifth category is miles per gallon.
I believe your gas tank is more, so you could definitely get further out than I could. If I remember correctly, I have a 12.7 gallon gas tank, which sucks because I know I got to fill up gas a lot sooner than most cars.
At least once a week on your way to work.
Oh, if I fill it up Sunday night, I got to do it again on Thursday.
So I know you can run premium in this, but you could also run 87. Running 87 brings that mileage down quite a bit. So if this was a brand new motor, a brand new car, it would be getting 17 miles per gallon city and 24 miles per gallon highway.
So for the Renegade, I looked it up for a 2022, should say that. City, you get 23 miles per gallon. Highway, you get 29.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Right now, mine definitely does not. adding the tires definitely makes it a little slower.
Yeah. So both of ours are off-road rated, I'm comfortable saying. So
Oh, yeah.
we could drop those a couple too. But I don't think there's any way around it. I think you're going to win this category too.
And it's kind of like what I brought up earlier. My car's newer, so in theory, newer cars should be better as
Should
they
always
get
be
older.
improving.
I mean, as years go on, the newer cars come out are supposed to be better.
Oh
so
my gosh.
if you would have beaten me on that category, I think the world would be a little upset.
You know what? I want to redo this whole video, but with the Santa Cruz, so that I win every category.
I think we'll probably end up doing that one soon.
So it may have been pretty one-sided so far, but the next two categories are totally in my favor. This one being the off-road category.
So I guess to start off, yours is an all-wheel drive.
Mhm.
Mine's a four-wheel drive.
It's technically an all-wheel drive vehicle.
But I feel like mine, specifically mine, is a little bit more useful for off-roading than a true all-wheel drive that you have.
So you have, I guess you have different modes.
I have
Sand,
different modes.
Snow, mud.
With being a 2017, I get the chance of switching it to snow, sand, mud, and I think like the Trailhawks, they have another option. I can't remember what it is.
Some legit off-road mode.
But the Trailhawks are meant to be more the off-road version of Renegades.
So on the other hand, though, that is more electronics, more that can go wrong with it. It's a lot of computer work going on, whereas this Subaru is all mechanical, all hydraulic. So it's tried, tested, and true all-wheel drive. I bet there's going to be a bunch of Jeep people who are just slamming me because Subarus are not off-road cars at all.
Out of the factory, I do believe the Renegade does sit a little higher. So
Okay.
that would definitely be an advantage when it comes to
Okay.
off-roading.
So you have me on ground clearance. There's no way around that, especially with your rough country lift kit. You clearly have advantage on overall lift. As far as
approach and departure angles, I've got you beat on approach angles because I completely cut off my bumper and put a steel bumper on it.
For sure. You definitely got me on approach. And
You have me on departure angle. You have a shorter wheelbase. Therefore, yeah, the Renegade is way better at rock crawling if this thing ever goes rock crawling.
the thing that's kind of a little bit of a disadvantage too, because mine's taller, and not just height-wise, just taller in general, when I start hitting rocks, especially if I hit them a little wrong, a little too fast, they could potentially roll. They could roll
That's
over.
true. Remember hitting that giant bump outside Utah?
I hit a rock not even knowing, and I went airborne on 2 tires
Oh,
for a
man.
little bit. So I mean, that's when I learned that, God, this thing could actually roll.
Did you
Hit it wrong.
did you wear your brown pants?
They were bound after.
So I'm actually going to bring it back to the articulation of it. We did a sway bar test in your vehicle, and it actually made a difference. Originally, that short wheelbase, this back tire got up off the ground, it became unstable. But as soon as we removed your front sway bar, all wheels had contact. But the hardest test is once we have tires up in the air, your all-wheel drive system could not or your four-wheel drive system could not bring you all the way up the ramps.
Yeah, it doesn't help. And once again, this is a latitude. It's not a trail hawk. Trail hawk would probably done it no problem.
And then I already went ahead and filmed with this car. That's not a dedicated video, so I'll just put that up right now. Obviously, we can't do a before and after sway bar removal test since I chucked those. I got rid of them a long time ago. But we can do the one race tire and then the one tire off the ground and see how the staggered ramps are going to affect it. I know it's mechanical all-wheel drive versus electrical four-wheel drive, so I guess we'll see what happens. Well, that was pretty easy, honestly. There you can see backside fully compressed, or not even slightly off the ground, like like George's Renegade. There's no one else out here. It's an abandoned park. What's that guy's deal? And I guess with that front sway bar completely gone, I still have contact with the ground, even though that tire way back there is giving us issues. I think I made it a little further than George with the extra speed. I don't know if he would want to beat his car up like that. So it is true, I did not crawl all the way up the ramps without momentum, without a little speed, but that's how Subaru drivers do off-road action. Speed is key. We gotta score this somehow.
So this was tough
It's
because,
really tough.
Anybody can throw big tires and lift their car and say it's off-road, That's right.
I have approach, you have departure, I have articulation, you have ground clearance. Is this a draw?
I don't know, because the way yours sits without your sway bars, technically, you should be able to fix itself, right? When you're
That's
up
true.
in the air.
I mean,
As you've proven, mine will not. And that was even with, hold on, before we fully go, that was when I had really flat, not quite new tires anymore. They were they were months away from being removed.
I don't think you could have done it with new tires either.
The new tires could have made a difference. Who knows? We don't know.
So Subaru vote?
I think I vote for nobody.
You have to vote. You have to.
I don't know. You ask anyone, any guys in the comments will probably say 100% the Renegade will win. Once again, I don't have the Trailhawk, which would have definitely beat it.
I'm going to call that. You don't have the Trailhawk. This is the Latitude. I win.
Because I don't have the Trailhawk, and because you've modded yours to the point where it can keep up, probably with this Renegade. I think yours might take the cake for now.
Okay, cool. I'll take it. Okay. Last category is overlanding. If I can get 2 votes here, it's going to be a tied game.
Oh man.
Let's start with the Renegade and your camp setup.
In the past, I've elected to sleep in my Renegade. I'm able to, because I'm not very tall, I can fit in my car without too much problems. I can lay the whole back seat down. I found an inflatable bed I can put in there, and I've actually upgraded to a little bit bigger one where I can fit 2 people in there. So I'm able to actually sleep in the car when it comes to road trips if I really want to, without having to make a tent or anything like that. So when it comes to overlanding interior wise, I think having all 4 walls, I guess, surrounded by a car, it's a lot safer. Especially since we did that in Colorado where there was bears.
Well, you don't want a bear to come up and knock on your window?
I'd rather have knock on the window than knock on a tent.
Okay, fine.
The Renegade does have rails, which allows you to put racks down, which could potentially allow you to add a tent as well, if you get a good tent. I know crossbars are not meant to have too much weight on them, but the rails can take a little bit more. So it has the potential to be more, and I know a lot of you guys out there that have overlanding rigs for the Renegades rock with the big tents up top, which is always a good thing to have too. But there are options when it comes to the Renegade and overlanding in general.
That's true. Valkyrie makes like side molly panels and a ladder.
Yeah, I think Valkyrie makes stuff for it. There's a couple companies out there that make stuff for the Renegade specifically, and I think another company is Renegade Ready. That's where I got my trailer hitch from. They make a lot of stuff for the Renegade too, especially for off-roading. So I mean, yeah, there's a lot of aftermarket dedicated specific companies that make stuff for Renegades for off-roading and overlanding.
So biggest takeaway from this is obviously it has a truck bed. It has a bed extender to take that space out another 1.5 to 2 foot. So even on our big old expedition that we took a while back, I carried almost all of the shared gear. You had all your gear, I had mine, but the shared gear, like the water, the coolers, the food, all that stuff kind of went in here, the gasoline. So I remember I had to pull out the back seats, put mattresses in there, and that's the biggest demerit was there is no good way to put a rooftop tent on this vehicle because even with a 2-person, it's so wide. Like there's a couple people out there, I've seen rooftop tents on the roof of this thing and it hangs off the side a couple inches, so it's bigger than the vehicle itself. I've seen custom bed racks made and put a rooftop tent over there, but it's already got worse gas mileage than you, and putting that extra weight and that extra tent, I'm just gonna say this vehicle is gonna be tent camping for all of its overland adventures.
Yeah, it's tough. Having the bed, it can be a convenience, especially if you're carrying gasoline and big jugs of water, but you're sacrificing the interior space. Like I said before, I could...
What a dick.
But with that said too, you're losing a lot of interior space that like what I have. I can sleep in the car long ways normal without just sitting in the front seat like this, you know.
That's another
demerit for like you. Like you said, yours is also shorter space, narrower, so you can't put a tent up there. Technically I could, and there's people that have done it. So
I guess the only thing is you have to disassemble your whole interior space for going to sleep though. It's a lot safer, but that's a lot of work.
Yeah, so if I have a car full of gear, where's that gear gonna go? I could put it up top on a basket, but if you're in a place where you have bears and you have food, you definitely don't want food outside. So I mean, there's always going to be pros and cons to everything you do, and you just got to be smart on the way you do it.
You have better aftermarket support, but the fact that you can put a goofy rooftop tent on this thing, I'm going to give the overlanding category to myself.
We know that both of these cars can do it. Now, which car is better at it? Probably the Renegade.
You're voting Renegade?
I'd say the Renegade is, you can fit more. It's a little wider. You can use the top. You can use the space interior-wise. You have more interior space to use. You're kind of limited to how you can sleep in this car. More than likely, you have to sleep outside.
Okay, let me just tally this up a little bit. Final score. Subaru with a strong 6 points. So our winner is the Renegade with 8 points.
I mean, like I knew it was going to be close, but I think ultimately, realistically, the newer car should always win, right?
I think a lot of people would disagree with that.
I guess when you have...
New cars are designed to break.
Honestly, probably an older JK would have probably taken us both, so...
Now.
So that's how we scored this video. What do you guys think? Did we score it fair? Do you guys have a different count? Who do you think actually wins when all boils down to it?
Yeah, guys, I mean, it was a close game, but it could have gone either way, to be honest. It all depends on the mods and how you use your space and a lot of stuff. It could be a lot of stuff.
We'll go ahead and throw up some other off-road overland adventure videos for you guys to check out. And that's going to be a wrap. We'll catch you in the next one. Good enough?
Yeah.
All right.
Man, it got cold.